Chapter 16 Ashes and Echoes. The skies above the battlefield were scorched black, veined with smoke and streaks of molten energy. The wreckage of fallen dragons, both mechanical and living, littered the valley floor. Kaya Skyborn stood amidst the smoldering ruins, a jagged line of blood trickling down her brow. Blitz lay beside her, chest heaving, his crystal scales cracked from Thanatos' devastating pulse. Everything hurt. Her mind reeled. The celestial bond was splintered, its harmony broken. The wind howled through fractured peaks. Scorn limped in the distance. Vex had not responded on comms. Torin, Reyna, Sarai, Miro, they could be anywhere. Then came the sound. A deep electric hum that rumbled through the ground. Thanatos stood at the battlefield center, her obsidian metallic wings unfurled to their full span. The massive cyber dragon was a terrifying fusion of organic power and mechanical perfection. Steam hissed from her vents. The glow from her rotating crystal cores bathed the valley in alternating pulses of fire, lightning, and pure concussive energy. Kaya staggered to her feet. With a surge of twisted energy, Thanatos turned her head to the prone forms of Incendrix and Virilith. A beam of dark red light extended from the central core on her chest, connecting to the two dragons. Vex, still recovering atop a distant outcrop, gasped. Her visor flickered to life as she zoomed in. "She's recharging them," Vex muttered, using energy siphoned from the Matrix pulse. Thanatos let out a mechanical roar. Sparks and fire erupted from Incendrix's vents. Virilith's wings flexed, shedding ice in sharp sheets. The two cyber dragons twitched violently, then rose like resurrected beasts. Their wounds closed, power surged through their reinforced spines. Their eyes glowed with a synchronized red that mirrored Thanatos. Vex narrowed her eyes. "A female mountain wing," she murmured. "Of course, that explains the sleeker wings, the reduced spinal ridges, but she's just as big as Sovereign. Bigger, even. They used a female of his kind and enhanced her." Vex remembered Sovereign, the majestic titan who once protected the skies. Male mountain wings were more adorned with spikes and armor-like plating. Females had a more streamlined body, built for agility and extended flight. Both were biological marvels, but Thanatos, she was neither fully biological nor mechanical. She was something else entirely. Modified, warped, perfected. Kaya's legs trembled as she stared down Incendrix and Virilith, now stalking toward her. From behind the Colossus, Solane and Nasira limped to their feet. Their armor was dented and scorched, but their pride had taken a deeper blow. Solane wiped soot from her eyes. "Look, they're up!" Nasira squinted into the storm. "Incendrix, Virilith." She smiled. "They live. Thanatos restored them." Solane grunted, her gaze falling on Kaya, who stood vulnerable, cradling Blitz. "Then they know what to do." Nasira hesitated. "She could be useful. That energy pulse she released, we could study it, maybe extract it." "She's a danger," Solane snapped. "No one who can empower an entire army should be allowed to live." The sisters watched as their dragons crept forward, jaws glowing with elemental energy. Kaya, breathing heavily, raised her hand. Her palms sparked faintly, but the light was flickering. The bond was frayed. "Blitz," she whispered. Just a little more. But Blitz only groaned. Vex, from afar, activated her final thruster charge. She knew she wouldn't make it in time. Not like this. "Hold on, Kaya," she whispered. "You have to awaken. You have to remember who you are." Thanatos reared back, a shriek building in her throat as her cybernetic limbs prepared for a charge. But Kaya didn't falter. She stood tall, battered but unbroken, eyes locked on the monstrous form of Thanatos as Incendrix and Virulith circled on both sides. The ground trembled with each step the dragons took. The air itself was thick with fire and frost, pressure rising like the moment before a storm. Kaya closed her eyes, pushing past the searing pain in her chest. She reached into herself, not just her Violari heritage, not just her bond with Blitz. She reached into everything. The sky above, rumbling with electricity, the cracked and scorched mountain below, the memory of Sovereign's roar, the promise of the celestial bond. "You are the bridge," the seer had said, "the one who remembers both fire and frost." Kaya reached for Blitz. His body stirred, faint light pulsing from the fractured crystals lining his side. Their fingers brushed, claw to palm, soul to soul. Then it began. The air shimmered, the ground split, a deep hum pulsed outward from the space between them. A radiant light ignited. Blitz rose into the air, his body unraveling into threads of elemental energy. Fire, ice, wind, light, it all streamed into Kaya, not consuming him, but combining, becoming. Kaya rose with him, suspended in a vortex of color and motion. Her armor cracked open as glowing veins of crystal spread across her skin. Her hair lifted like a living flame. Wings formed behind her, massive, divine, draconic. One of frost, one of fire, wind spiraled between. She glowed like a new star. Kaya Skyborn was no more. In her place stood a being of myth, a draconic goddess. Her eyes opened, filled with starlight. She extended one hand. Incendrix roared and lunged. Kaya moved. Faster than thought, she raised her palm. A beam of concentrated elemental force erupted from her fingertips. A fusion of frost, flame, and pure harmonic energy. It struck Incendrix square in the chest. The cyborg Pyrosaurian howled as the blast ripped through its plating, cracking the reinforced armor and severing energy conduits. The dragon fell, crashing into a molten hillside with a thunderous explosion. Before Virulith could react, Kaya turned. Her other wings spread, releasing a storm of sub-zero wind laced with lightning. Virulith was caught mid-air, her cryo-core short-circuiting as the energy enveloped her. The cyber dragon spiraled down, frozen plasma trailing like a comet's tail. Solane and Nasira cried out as their dragons were struck down once more. This time, there would be no resurrection. Kaya hovered above the battlefield, her wings beating slowly, the sky itself bending around her presence. Her aura ripped across the valley, reigniting the sparks of fallen dragons, urging the wounded to rise. Even Scorn stirred. In the distance, Vex watched, eyes wide with awe. By the stars, she became it, the balance incarnate. But Thanatos remained. The god beast snarled, her crystalline cores rotating faster now, preparing to unleash the full fury of her tri-elemental arsenal. Kaya raised her gaze. "I am the Bond Reborn," she said, her voice echoing across the sky. "I am not fire. I am not frost. I am all." Thanatos roared in challenge, and the world prepared for war anew. The air between them cracked, lightning danced, lava bubbled up from the fractured earth, snow fell sideways. Kaya darted forward, Thanatos lunged. The sky split open as goddess and monster collided. Far above, Commander Vex awoke to the sound of thunder. Her HUD flickered. Her suit was damaged, but functional. She activated her scope and saw the glowing figure in the sky. Kaya. Her voice broke, but hope flared. Elsewhere, Sarai rallied the Ember Fangs. Torin staggered to his feet, supporting Scorn with one arm. Reyna and Miro regrouped with Cypher and Loom, their dragons crackling with residual energy from the Matrix surge. All eyes turned to the sky, and they saw her. Kaya, the elemental bond incarnate, soared toward Thanatos. The air shimmered as she ascended higher, her form streaked in whirls of blue-white flame, crystalline frost, and silver wind. Her eyes radiated with power older than war. The wind carried the memory of ancient Vailari chants, the elemental force of the world remembering her as one of its own. They clashed in the upper atmosphere. Lightning storms erupted with every blow. Thanatos lashed with her tail, but Kaya caught it and hurled the dragon into a distant peak. The mountain crumbled. Thunder cracked. Clouds detonated from the sheer force of the impact. Thanatos roared, furious and wounded, and came back stronger. With a roar that split the heavens, Thanatos surged upward, deploying a volley of missile bursts and elemental beams. Kaya weaved between them with supernatural grace, her wings trailing arcs of energy. Vex, now airborne with her repaired boosters, gave the signal to the others. "Move in! She's doing it! She's holding the line!" Below, Sarai led the Emberfang charge. Fire-wreathed dragons swept through the ranks of remaining cryo-weavers and iron fangs. The glacier-born closed ranks with them, their frost blades clashing against metallic limbs. Torin mounted Scorn once more, flames erupting from the Alpha's maw. He took to the skies again, trailing Kaya as backup. Meanwhile, inside the forge, the Matrix core pulsed like a second heart. Its glyphs awakened fully for the first time in centuries. Its energy radiated outward. Across the region, scattered dragons felt their minds clear. The bond reconnected, not fully, but enough. Scale soldiers, both Vailari and human, felt a pulse in their bones. Weapons calibrated with new precision, armor synced to elemental frequencies. The battle tide began to turn. Kaya's silhouette gleamed. Her arms widened. The celestial runes on her body glowed with rising crescendo. With a primal cry, she gathered the elemental energy within her. Her hands glowed. A great vortex of flame, frost, and wind spiraled from her body. Blitz's spirit channeled through her, roaring with her in unison. Above the clouds, Thanatos opened her jaw for one final obliterating beam. But it was too late. Kaya aimed and released it. The vortex howled like a world-ending storm. It struck Thanatos like a comet. Light exploded in every direction. A shockwave shattered the sound barrier. Thanatos screamed. The sky broke. Wings shredded, cybernetic limbs shorted. Her elemental cores cracked in a chain reaction of overload. The god dragon was hurled across the sky, trailing fire and molten machinery, and crashed into a canyon miles away. The earth convulsed. The horizon trembled. Kaya descended slowly, energy fading like a dying star. Her feet touched the ground as Blitz reformed beside her, weakened but alive. They had done it. Smoke curled skyward from the shattered canyon, as Thanatos lay broken amidst the wreckage. Her breathing was shallow, metallic rims bent inward, wings shredded and scorched. Sparks danced across her fractured cybernetic body, yet still she lived. Incindrix and Virulith, likewise battered and crippled, crawled toward her across the burning plains, their limbs dragged, systems flickering. The battle had drained them beyond limits, but Dominus did not tolerate defeat. Even in ruin, they were required to obey. Above the battlefield, a shrill mechanical whistle pierced the silence. A small orb streaked from the clouds, trailing silver light. It struck the earth beside Thanatos, embedding itself into the ground before activating. With a rising hum, the orb projected a containment field of blue energy around the fallen god dragon. Runes shimmered across the barrier surface. Thanatos' massive form was compressed with a soft implosion of sound and light. In the blink of an eye, she vanished. Then, similar containment fields engulfed Incindrix and Virulith. Each dragon blinked out of sight, reduced and secured into crystalline capsules no larger than a fist. From the sky, a sleek Dominus shuttle descended and hovered near the site. Mechanical arms reached from its undercarriage to retrieve the capsules. One by one, they were locked into stasis pods aboard the ship. Within the shuttle, Solane sat slumped in silence, her scorched armor flaking. Across from her, Nisira wiped dried blood from her lip, her expression unreadable. The capsules were placed into the core chamber between them. Solane stared at them. "They lost," Nisira whispered. "We lost." Solane's hand trembled. "She defeated Thanatos." Nisira hesitated. What if we're on the wrong side?" Neither spoke after that. The hum of the engines filled the space as the shuttle veered off towards Solaran City, vanishing beyond the clouds. Back in his citadel in Solaran City, Virik watched through a projection orb, arms crossed. Behind him, in a chamber of steel and shadow, scientists hurried to prepare the reconstruction bay. Thanatos would be restored. Virik turned his head slightly as a general approached. "Status report?" "Thanatos is contained. Retrieval successful. All surviving units are returning to the Solaran sector for recalibration." Virik nodded. "Good. Then initiate the next phase. Let them think they've won. Let them rejoice. War is not a moment, it is a legacy, and I am its architect." He turned away as stasis pods descended from the ceiling, awaiting their terrible occupants. Back at the forge, the last of the enemy skyships retreated over the horizon. Ember Fang and Glacier-born riders stood in silence, scanning the heavens for more threats. But none came. The sky was quiet. Torin dismounted Scorn, who dropped to one knee, exhausted. Miro and Reyna limped into view, Cypher and Loom staggering behind them. Sarai stood amidst the field, hand to her heart. Vex landed on the forge plateau, her suit sparking but still intact. She leaned heavily on her blade for support. Kaya approached, her armor scorched, her face pale but glowing faintly. Blitz padded beside her, weakened but proud. Vex straightened. "You saved us." Kaya shook her head. "No, we saved each other. All of us." Reyna looked up. "Is it over?" Kaya turned her gaze to the east. Beyond the smoke and fire, beyond the shattered canyons and broken machines, there the world still stood. "Not yet." She opened her palm. In it the crystal matrix shimmered, pulsing gently. As the wind stirred, a soft voice carried across the valley, a voice only she could hear. "Well done, child of harmony." Kaya's breath caught. It was sovereign. She closed her eyes, letting the wind rush past her, into the future. Uayeia had survived the storm, but the war was not over. Not yet.